But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for game 3 between Justera and Na'Vi. So Na'Vi managing to take this to a third game series by winning that second game. It was looking pretty dicey. Justera, sorry, won the second game, not Na'Vi. But it was looking pretty dicey to begin with. Na'Vi was in a pretty dominant lead, but then only one quick couple of team fights in a row, and then Justera completely flipped the game on its head and just ended up running away from it, forcing it onto a game 3. So we'll see if they're able to do it again, or if Na'Vi are going to bounce back and try and take the series. We'll have to wait and see. Just they lead up with a Phoenix and an IO ban. Interesting that they're going to start off with Phoenix ban. Seems how it's not been banned in any of the other games, and Na'Vi's not picked it up once. So maybe there's a particular hero that they're going to be after to grab, which struggles a bit against a Phoenix. Who would that be? Not too sure. I'm sure this is first pick. So actually going to go for a Doom. Does the Doom get particularly countered by the Phoenix? I wouldn't say so. Yeah, I wouldn't say it gets countered by it at all. But even still, Doom is actually going to be the first pick coming out from Justera. Most likely going to be a no-one hero, I think. But I mean, it's pretty flexible. A lot of the players on Justera do like to play it. Ramses actually plays it quite a bit. Even Zayak plays it. Obviously, we've not got like a huge amount of previous info to go off of. But even still, we'll see what position they are going to put this Doom into. Even if you grab a Crystal Maiden, looks like that's going to be their position 5. Depends on the hands of Solo, I imagine. Even still, Na'Vi once again picking up the Shen. This is the third time in the row. Let's see what they're going to follow up with their second pick. Perhaps just a Lifestealer again. He does relatively decently against the Doom in the laning phase. Being able to just use the Rage and then purge off the Infernal Blade damage, as well as avoiding the Scorched Earth and whatever ability he has from a creep. So I could potentially see that pick up once more time. I definitely wouldn't say that the Faceless Void was a problem in the previous game. He was doing quite well. It's just the fact that no one managed to get so many decent RPs off in a row that it didn't really matter. I'm actually going to grab a Storm Spirit as their second pick. It's a very, very early Storm Spirit. And, I mean, if he ever gets hit by a Doom as well, it makes the Storm Spirit's life pretty damn miserable. So we'll have to see what sort of position this Storm Spirit gets put in. I mean, if this Storm Spirit is going to end up going mid, then Na'Vi will probably just put the Doom in the hands of Sumail and put it in the mid lane. Just to get that early level 6 and then start just completely steamrolling onto the Storm Spirit. Unless the Storm ends up getting a very fast Lincolns, but even that's pretty rough. They're actually going to ban out the Anti-Mage. Lifesteal also taken away from the side of Justera. I'm getting very lucky with the random music at the moment, am I? So still both position 1s left to pick up for both teams. So going to be a lot of carry bans out in these next 4 bans. I don't think Na'Vi really was scared that badly of the Jug, so I imagine it'll probably stay in the pool. So it wasn't really the Jug was the reason why they won. It was just, you know, Ramses got big enough to actually do damage during an RP, and that was pretty much how they won. So that's not exactly like a Juggernaut specific thing. So yeah, it's probably not going to be worth banning out. I mean, there's still a Magnus in the pool though. So we could potentially see that getting banned out instead. But for one of these teams. Perhaps just Aero ban it out because of the fact that Na'Vi have the first pick. Then we'll have to see what carry they grab to try and pair with that perhaps. There's even a Faceless Void still in the pool. Morphling gets taken out, Invoker gets taken out. So now the bans are sort of swapped to the mid laners. Well, I mean, you assume this Storm Spirit's going to be the mid laner for the side of Na'Vi. Have seen some off lane Storms before. And I mean, it is a very early pick as well, so we'll have to see where they put it. They're actually going to grab the Lina. Iceberg does play this as well in the mid, so I mean, it's very unorthodox. So we could potentially see a pos for Storm, but you're most likely to see this Lina in the hands of the Roger this game, and Iceberg will still take that Storm for the mid. So is this the off laner in the position 1 left to grab up for Na'Vi? Faceless Void would be pretty legit right now. I mean, you get a Chronosphere onto either 3 of these current heroes and they will just die in that duration. They're too squishy, especially in the early portions of the game. So that will just be free food. I'm pretty sure Ramses does play it as well, so that could potentially be the way to go. Now going to go Nature's Prophet. So that's most likely going to be for no one in the off lane. Well, then mind you, Doom's probably still going to... Well, it all depends if this Doom's going to go in the mid in the hands of Sumail. Or the Nature's Prophet will go into the hands... I mean, the Nature's Prophet could go into the Sumail or no one. It's even like one of the most picked heroes for Ramses as well. Well, in his pubs per se. So I mean, he does like playing this hero. Could potentially see that coming out. I mean, Nature's Prophet is like one of the most versatile heroes in the game. He could either be like a carry, go for like a pure right-clicking build. He can be a support and go for a very defensive build, get like mech and solar crest and whatnot. Or he can go for a hard pushing build. You can get like something like a Beetle Hammer. It's a very diverse hero. So we'll see where they actually are going to think about putting him. The Na'Vi, they actually grabbed a Slardar, so that's going to be their main offlane. So it looks like it's just their position 1 left to grab up. So a Slardar and a Lina combo is definitely pretty scary to go up against. Triple stun. So I'll have to see what Justera are going to grab to put up against this lane. They're actually going to grab the Dragon Knights. This Dragon Knight is most likely going to be in the mid lane. Well, they could put him in their safe lane to try and go up against the Slardar and the Lina. Definitely has a nice bit of sustainability with the Dragon's Blood, so he might be able to put him in that lane. But I mean, it's looking like position 1's left to pick up for both teams now. Unless, of course, they are going to put this Nature's Prophet into Ramsey's hands. But even still, it's pretty much guaranteed to be V-Tune's heroes, the last pick. Morphin's already gone, the Lifestealer's gone. PL, nice juicy target for a Doom. Same as a Slark. I mean, it's quite a lot of juicy targets for a Doom, really. Storm Spirit is the key one. Let's see what they are just going to end up grabbing. I mean, there's still a Faceless Void. And I quite like the Faceless Void for the side of Justera. Especially seeing as how they do have a Nature's Prophet as well, to be able to actually do a lot of damage into that Chrono. I mean, sure, even the DK, because when he puts his Dragon form, he's going to be ranged, so even he's going to be able to do a bit of damage into it. So I quite like the Faceless Void pickup. Even to some extent it works for Na'Vi as well, if they're going to put this Lina into possibly the mid lane, and then the support Storm Spirit. I don't know. It's a really dicey situation. But even still, yeah, I'd be quite happy if I was Justera to pick up that Faceless Void. It works quite nicely. They're actually going to grab the Abaddon, so this is going to be a Ramses Nature's Prophet then. And then Sumail will take the Dragon Knight to the mid. And this looks like it could be a support Doom. Put it into the hands of Zayak. And then maybe the Abaddon will be into the hands of no one for the off lane. Yeah, could be it. So we'll see what Na'Vi's going to grab as their last pick. They're still after their position 1. I don't think the Faceless Void is as good for them. Let's see what they are just going to grab instead. They are actually going to go for a Slark. Okay. So, Slark always going to be able to either have his Hatchet or a Pounce available to get out with the Overgrowth coming out from the Nature's Prophet. So he should stay pretty safe. Zayak does actually end up taking that Doom for the position 4 role. Solo taking the Crystal Maiden in the 5. The 3 cores on the side of Justera, they're sort of thinking about which way they want to put it. I'm sure this is probably going to be Ramses as the Nature's Prophet. Yeah. So Ramses takes the Nature's Prophet, Sumail, DK in the mid, and then the no one on the off lane. Okay. So no one's going to be able to be purging off the damage amp that comes out from Slardar, as well as purging off a Tether from Slark. Especially being able to try and survive the burst damage that comes out from the Slardar and Lina for the early portions of the game. So see what they're able to do with this lineup this time. So Ramsey's obviously just going for that big DPS build. Seems how a large portion of the rest of his team is quite defensive. The DK doesn't really pump out too much damage. Neither does the Abaddon. Crystal Maiden not so much unless somehow she gets an absolutely massive Frostfield. We'll have to see how it ends up going down. But either way, here we go for Game 3, the final game between Na'Vi and 404. As soon as they're able to clear up this series, it looks like Na'Vi's actually taking 4 heroes straight towards the top, potentially going to try and set up for a First Blood. And so there is 3 heroes from the side of 404 heading up here as well. So see maybe if any of them try and walk up onto that high ground, because that looks like that's potentially where Na'Vi's just going to be setting up. Maybe waiting to see if anyone gets a little bit too over aggressive. Falls straight into their trap.
Sympathies.
I got goosebumps.
Doesn't look like anyone from 404 is going to like be a little bit too bold and walk up onto this high ground. So Na'Vi, they can try and do some sort of wraparound, potentially move up to the high ground of the triangle. I'm just going to wait in the Roshan pit. And they always want to fly this. He's just actually has like a little bit of bait at the moment. Doesn't want to end up getting too aggressive. But now the bounty runes are getting close to spawning. And 404, they're just going to bail. They don't want to take this fight, realising that Na'Vi has the numbers. So it's then just going to end up being a 2-for-2.
Sympathies.
So is this Ramses going to stay solo down here, or is someone going to the side of 4-4 going to TP down towards the bot lane? Not too sure at the moment. I have to sort of wait and see what they want to do, if they are just going to leave this as a try lane. I mean, the Nature's Prophet should do pretty well against the Slardar. Obviously, as range heroes generally do, just to avoid that greater bash that does come out from that hero. But even still, there is that like kill potential that comes out from a Lina and a Slardar pairing. I'm going to not have that this game. At least not until the first couple of levels, and then perhaps always want to fly rotate down towards the bot. But CS in the mid lane, pretty even between the two, just a slight lead for Iceberg. There is still a few creeps left to actually be killed. So actually 6-6. Nice and even score. Well, I mean, Sumail, he's going to have a pretty easy time just sustaining this lane. Dragon Blood's providing so much HP regen and armor. The armor, obviously a large portion of Storm Spirit's damage is magic. So it's not going to have the greatest effect in the world on the armor side, but even still, just that little bit extra that will keep him sustained in this lane. See General down bomb, just getting constantly harassed out from this tree and army. So it's pretty difficult for either team to really get many kills up in this top lane. At least it definitely is for now. Even still, despite the fact that V-Tune is actually up against the tri lane, he does have slightly better CS than Ramses does. So any sort of slight bonus he can get. All the lanes going pretty smoothly so far for both teams. No one's really getting shut down that hard. Right, the only core that's struggling the most is no one, but even still, he's not really that far behind. V-Tune's having a surprisingly decent time. I imagine a lot of this aggression that is going to come out from 404 will probably change once they hit that level 3. The general is actually slightly leaning on CS down at the bottom lane. I mean, a large portion of that is probably actually treant kills. The the same as Ramses' denies. He's got 8 denies, so probably a lot of those are his little saplings. It's not like it's going to be a big XP difference. Actually, might you? There's still like another wave though for General to come, but even still, Ramses a quarter level past 5. And General still needs a quarter level to reach his 5. But as I was saying, he's still like another wave away. Double damage on Zayek's hands, but I don't really think they're going to be able to get much happening with this. He has Devour off cooldown. You need to use that Devour, son. Gotta spam that thing. Ooh, actually, down bot. I missed that completely. The Slardar, he actually gets the first blood onto Ramses, gets that quick kill. Solo does rotate around to try and land a nail with hand, but he gets there too late. Can't save Ramses alive, but at least he allows Ramses to get the return kill with these saplings. What's Mel doing? Now he's got those extra levels, 2 points into Dragon's Blood, 2 points into the Dragonfire. He's doing a pretty good job in this mid lane, although the CS score is still super close. 30 to 6 to 29 and 6. Very little difference between these two. And then level 6 now onto Sumail, immediately pops that Dragon form. Oh, nice play. Tried to go for a TP back to base, but Sumail just pops his stick and gets a stun off. That's going to force Iceberg to walk all the way back. It's going to waste so much of his time. That's just going to let Sumail get even more of a dominant lead in this lane. Oh, up top. Oh, actually, that was down bottom, sorry. But no, General actually finding solo kill onto solo. I mean, there's the danger of a Slardar, especially seeing as he's already got his level 6. Amplified damage, doing a lot of damn work. Even gets the Crush connection onto General, followed by the Greater Bash. These hits can do a lot, and the TP does have to be forced out from no one, but he will cancel at the last second. No point in going all the way down there if you're not actually getting there in time. You know, Iceberg jumps forward onto Zaya, pulling him back, trying to do a bit of damage. He actually tries to get the runes off of no one, but he couldn't quite get there in time. And there's a lot of rotations from both teams coming around, a lot of aggression now in this mid lane. Always want to fly, gets stunned out by the Dragon Tail, then followed up by the Cold Embrace from the CM, and he ends up falling. That's just the tier 1 tower gone at 6 minutes 30 in. Very cool. Iceberg. Do they spot him? They do actually see him. He doesn't have much mana to escape from this. His TP's even on cooldown. He will zip down to the bottom ground, but Zayak and no one's just ready and waiting. Even Sumail just cooks his back and gets the last hit. Even find all these creep camps now that are being made for Na'Vi. And they're just going to snatch these away. There's 4 heroes from the side of 404 just all collapse on it just to make sure they can bring this down. Especially before anyone from the side of Na'Vi can react. So nice movements there by 404. Ramses over a full level over the top of V-Tune as well, so he's going to be able to apply a bit of aggression. Iceberg jumping forward. He's trying to initiate onto no one. Not the easiest target to get at all, despite the fact he's not even level 6 yet. But V-Tune, he puts himself into middle everyone. The Sprout does connect. Able to chop down the tree with that hatchet to try and escape. Zayek nearly falling, will pop the stick. Sumail's even rotated around now, trying to focus on always want to fly. It looks like he will fall. And it looks like Iceberg, he couldn't even finish off Zayak, and now he's just caught out. He does one more zip up to the top of the trees to try and escape, but just can't get away in time. And he falls once more, and that's going to be another tier 1 falling and going towards Fatal. Really nice movements coming out from 404 so far this game. Just constant aggression, moving around the map. This is the power of a Nature's Prophet, just that global presence. Been able to reinforce your team no matter where they are. In general, I mean, he didn't really get involved in that fight. I don't think he even got really involved in the mid fight either. So we'll let his team try and take it out. Another TP coming in from Ramses. They will put the trees down, so they realise that V-Tune's gone to the left, and they will run into him. They're just trying to body block up, but he actually finds the gap, and he's able to get the leap out. V-Tune will be able to escape with his life, but he's still only level 5. He's a third of a level away. But even still, this is the downside of him being in a tri-lane this entire time. Meanwhile, Ramses, he's a third of a level to his level 8. So 2 full levels over the top of V-Tune. Looks like potentially Na'Vi wants to try and set something up here. Always want to fly is hanging around on the high ground. Maybe wait to see if Ramsey steps out of position. So they don't have any way to like quickly close the gap. Lina, the Shen, and the Slark don't really have any large distance closing abilities. Sure, the Slark has his leap, but if he misses that leap, then Ramses will be able to just walk away. So generally you want to be as close as possible before you do actually end up using that skill. Now down bottom, General, he's still been sat down this entire time farming away. I mean, sure, because of the whole weird lane situations, you do see a 3-level disparity between the 2 off-laners. So that is sort of countered by the level disparity between the 2 position ones, but I think Fatal Hair are happy with that, seeing as how they're seems like they have the higher level and the more important hero. It looks like even General tried to snatch, but he did get that bounty room. He's actually able to just quickly slip away from this. Ramses, he just got teleport into the high ground, but he ends up just getting caught out from a stun by Always Want to Fly, and he can't quite get the grab. The General's able to escape with his life. So it looks like Ramses building up towards that Orchid Malevolence as his first item. Nice poke. Positioned himself quite aggressively, but he's got full mana, able just to zip away. Toss some mail building, but he's got something coming in the courier. He's actually already got his Blink Dagger online. So that is going to be the clear initiation for the side of 404. Seeing as how they themselves, they don't have anyone that can clear the gap. I think that's just before General gets his Blink Dagger. Yeah, General's 400 gold still from finishing up his. And it looks like 404, they want to try and make a move onto General here. I think he saw that the ward got placed.
My deepest sympathy.
General knows this is coming, but even still, he's still going to position himself around here. There should be another tier 1 falling. So despite the fact how active Ramses has been getting, plus had the free farm down bottom, Beechun, he's still only like 250 gold behind, so he's definitely been doing a pretty good job at keeping pace. It's now 500 gold now because of that tower kill. But even still, it's not horrendously far behind. Got that Abyssal Diffusal Dagger queued up. Even got like a wand queued up, not sure why. It's not really much worth getting a wand at this stage in the game. But Blink Dagger now online for General. Not General, sorry. Yeah, General. Well, Keck. So we'll probably see maybe Na'Vi going to try and make some moves around the map now that they have another form of initiation. It's not just all down to the Storm Spirit to try and get a grab. We'll see if they go for like a smoke play and try and hunt someone down. They are actually grouped up and 3 of them will smoke up. He took too long, Always Want to Fly, you're not joining him. But there's the Orchid now online for Ramses. So he's going to have the little power spike and it looks like there's a smoke on smoke coming on here. Roger and Samel run straight into each other. General's waiting on the side. We'll be able to get a Blink Dagger in to assist Roger. But he doesn't want to get himself revealed. Ramses even joins in and they just completely disperse. Beechun just went completely opposite direction. He just wanted to farm. He didn't care about heroes at all. Could potentially see maybe 404 want to try and set up for this tier 2 in the mid. Try and get the a tier 2 tower down before that 20-minute mark and get that big XP boost. Smells actually TP'd down here, maybe thinking try and get a kill onto someone who is farming. They did see Vichu down here, but he's been off the map for a little bit. Looks like they won't find anyone. Nuzzel's going to fall back to farming. So Ramsey's, what's he got his queued up as his next item? Just got a cloak at the moment, just, you know, casually protecting him against quite a bit of that magic damage from the side of Navi. But it's not a huge amount of magic damage. There's a leader in the storm, and then apart from that, it's a huge amount of physical damage that comes out from the Slardar and the Slark. But you know, that's down to one of these other tanky guys to help resist against physical damage. Imagine someone's might be building like something like a Crimson, perhaps. I mean, the Veil, Vlad's has already finished online for no one. It's going to help sustain the rest of his team. It's like 4 or 4. They might just be able to get this Roshan. It's dropping pretty low, and then finally Na'Vi are going to rotate around. General Smoke gets popped. He's going to jump straight into the bit, but the stun already got queued up there by Sumail. He gets immediately caught out. The Aegis on the floor, and Ramsey's just managed to grab it before Vitrun's able to get in there and stop it. He's still silenced, so he can't go get his arm off. The Hand of God just keeps him alive. But as soon as that Orchid wears off, there's a big magic damage burst, and he falls. Iceberg zips in there, tries to get a kill, but he ends up just getting stunned in place once again, and he falls. Always want to fire drops as well. So Na'Vi, they jump in there, try to disrupt this this Roshan kill, but they end up just losing 4 heroes in return, as well as still the Roshan and Aegis going to the hands of 4-4. So now that's just a massive momentum swing going to the side of over to the Radiant. They did gamble and they did lose. You are correct, Zayak. It's definitely a little bit of a scary position for Na'Vi to be put into now. But it looks like General will actually be able to find the kill onto Ramsey, so that's the Aegis burnt. But there is still a few rotations coming out from the side of 4-4 to try and lend him a helping hand. He's actually just going to go for an attempt of a TP out. Looks like he probably just said to everyone now, just leave me, I'm dead. So, okay, Na'Vi, they actually find something quick off the map that will make that Roshan loss feel not as bad. Still feels bad. Don't get me wrong, it still feels bad, but even still it's not as bad. Here you are, General. Jumps forward and he actually finds a grab onto no one now. But there's no other follow-up from the rest of Na'Vi. He even still had that borrowed time available if he felt like he was getting pressured too much. So Vichun got his Skadi queued up as his next item after having that Diffusal Blade finished. Definitely feel like he does need that tank because I feel like he might need some sort of way to purge off silences as well. Unless he just gets lucky and uses that Dark Pact just before he gets silenced. It is going to be pretty easy for him just to get stunned down, locked in place. So, it could be worth him maybe building into a Manta Style. It's not really an item you see very often on a Slark, but it could save his life in a couple of occasions. So Iceberg got his Orchid online. We'll see if he's just going to go for that pretty standard Bloodstone. Or if he's just going to maybe mix it up and go for something else. This is his second main item. Oh, here we are, down bottom. 4-4 pushing onto the tier 2, but there is a few heroes on the side of Na'Vi here trying to reinforce this area. We've still got this Carty available to help this aggression going. Looks like they will actually be able to find this tier 2 tower. It is before the 20-minute mark as well, so we'll probably see him make a move towards the Na'Vi's jungle, take away the outpost. So what's this casual Ring of Tarask all about? Was he maybe going to try and get like a really early Abyssal, perhaps? Or just there to help him sustain the lane a little bit more, rather than just going for the Ring of Health? We'll have to see, wait and see what it transitions to. General, he's on the hunt. He actually finds Solo, but they put down a Rev Ward, and they'll stun him in place before he can get too close. Well, they just say hello. No one ended up falling. Literally just a 2-on-2 scenario. Damn, he's so fast. So Zayak's got his Blink Dagger online now as well. So that's another way for them to initiate and get the Doom down on a high value target. The Doom or the Slark, sorry, or the Storm Spirit are very high value targets. Either one that they can grab will probably fall pretty quickly. It's like jump forward from the Zayak, but Vichun, he was ready and waiting. He manages to pop his ultimate just in time to be able to survive. But still, it's very little damage that's actually coming out, and Zayak's been able to survive for quite a while. He will turn around with the Inferno Blade just to try and slow him down. Ramsey's now getting targeted on by General. It looks like he will fall. Sumail jumps in to try and lend help now, tries to stun on Vici, but Hand of God comes out. Zayak falls down in the background, and Vici is able to leap himself into the trees to safety. So now it's just 3 members of 404 surrounded by everyone on the side of Na'Vi here. Jump forward from General once again, crushes onto Solo, stuns him in place. Now it's just Sumail. He's trying to retreat. Iceberg leaping forwards. They do get the final hit him before his Blink Dagger is able to refresh off the cooldown. And Sumail falls as well, so the momentum once again to swing completely the other way, back towards the favour of Na'Vi. There's that really awkward engagement from Zayak and Ramsey. He's trying to find the kill onto V-Tune. Just that really nice preemptive ultimate there by V-Tune. Just as soon as Zayak Blink Dagger towards him, instantly slapped that R button. And then just completely cancelled that entire movement. Allowed Na'Vi to all rotate around and provide enough assistance. It ends up being 4-0 trade. Even General able to secure one of the top bounty runes as well. So ends up being a 3-for-1 on the bounty trades. Massive spike down on the net worth chart, XP chart, sorry. Looks like they're 6,000 XP ahead at the moment. So it is actually the Bloodstone queued up from Iceberg as the next item. He's actually going to jump forward onto Solo. He's going to try and get a quick and easy solo kill here. And it's quite a lot of damage. Ramsey's already rotated around. Jump forward from General. Gets the crush on 2 of them. It looks like Ramsey's might have just given his own life away. Perfect LSA there. Connects onto him and Zayak. It holds them both back. And Iceberg's able to get TP out. Even a buyback forced out from Solo. So just more little quick picks on the side of Na'Vi. And so they want to try and make something else happen. Iceberg just gets relocated back in. Or recalled in, sorry. And they're heading straight towards the top. They're going to try and get a catch onto the back of 404. General jumps forward, gets a crush once again onto 2 heroes. So he's just going to pop his Frozen Field straight away. Zayak ends up falling. A lot of damage comes out from this Frozen Field, but it's still not enough. And Solo will end up falling. It looks like no one now just left. He will be brought down eventually, and Sumail just manages to escape from that himself. So another 3 quick kills. Again from Na'Vi. This game has been completely flipped on its head now. Just the reins have been snatched out of 404 hands, and now it's Na'Vi whipping this horse into shape. And General, we tried to go for a jump. He actually ended up stealing away the Nevershore away from Sumail. That's got to feel bad. Is the Nevershore particularly amazing on anyone on the side of Na'Vi? Maybe into Icebergs or Always Wanna Fly's hands. Actually, Always Wanna Fly just wants to have that Philosopher's Stone. So maybe he doesn't care about it too much, just wants to be able to get some money. Maybe still, Nevershore is a pretty useful item. Gives a very large chunk of magic resistance. Double damage on General, but obviously there's the borrow time on no one. Maybe he could have potentially gone for some sort of crazy pick. V-Tune now super close to finishing up that Skadi. Only 100 gold. He will have it after this creep wave's finished. There we go. Skadi online. So might potentially see them try and make some sort of move now. They have a smoke available. They don't have it on a Roger. No one actually has a smoke on the side of Na'Vi, so they're not going to try and make any sort of play like that just yet. Maybe one's coming on the courier. Yeah, Shun's got one. So they're going to immediately smoke up and head towards the top. It looks like they're going to run into no one as their first target, but it's not really the easiest one to grab. The leap actually misses from V-Tune. Even the LSA does as well, so no one's going to be able to walk away from this. But General's in the back. He does get hit by that Nature's Wrath, so it will slow him down. Meanwhile, Iceberg jumps straight onto Solo, and the CM falls pretty easily. V-Tune now gets caught out, hits by the Doom, but not before he just manages to cast his leap. Nice LSA there from Always Wanna Fly. He's going to hold everyone back. Ramsey's TP straight into the back lines. He ends up getting hit by Lagoon Blade in the face, takes a lot of damage, and he ends up falling. Now it's just V-Tune sat in the front. The Doom's nearly wearing off, and he's just going to stand his ground and keep on hitting. There's not enough damage from the side of 404 to stop him. Zayak ends up falling. Sumail ends up falling. Now it's just no one. He may potentially get the kill towards the fly, but no. Hand of God comes out, heals him back up. And that's a full 5 team wipe going towards Na'Vi, and they don't lose a single hero for it. Just super top show now from Na'Vi. Just absolutely stomping 404 into the ground. There's no Roshan to take, so instead they're going to move on to this tier 1 in the mid. Take this down and start working onto that tier 2. It looks like probably a large portion of the 4-4 members will be alive by then, but even still, they could potentially just force out the glyph nonetheless. Have a pause. Probably who's lagging this time? Someone's always lagging. But I mean, you got to be scared now if you're 404. You need to find some sort of pick off. V-Tune would be the ideal one, but it's pretty damn difficult. It really is. Especially it seems out just the fact that Na'Vi, they never have any hero on their own. They've always got that buddy system on in effect. I think General's only the other one who's off solo somewhere. But even still, it's a difficult kill to get grab onto General. I mean, he has just gone for like a very aggressive build, Blink Dagger and Mask of Madness. So he wants to just lay into people and do as much damage as he possibly can. So he's not got a huge amount of defensibility items. I thought maybe Na'Vi might have just carried on whacking onto this tier 2 to force out the glyph, but no, decided against it. He'll just fall back. Roshan, still a minute and 20 away, so it's a pretty long spawner. Seems that was like 2 minutes before. Oh, General though, he jumps forward, gets a grab onto Ramses, and that's a solo kill. General actually just solo kills him. Oh dear. And that's really rough. V-Tune even getting Divine Favored back towards the rest of his team into that enemy triangle. Ooh, they did get a spot onto Solo, and that's a very easy kill. Again, the CM falls, and all 4 bounties are just going to get snatched up by Na'Vi as well. General securing the bottom 2. This game is just getting worse and worse for 404, and I mean, it's not like the later this game goes, the easier it gets. A Slardar, a Storm Spirit, and a Slark all scale very well towards the late game. Meanwhile, 404, the Nature's Prophet scales well, but I mean, and the Doom does, but I suppose the rest, they struggle a little bit. So, and then 404, they know if you've got like some sort of big team fight ultimate, I mean, they got the Doom, sure, but it's not like some sort of big stun or a big lockdown that they can actually use to their advantage in these team fights. I mean, the only stun they actually have is Samael's Dragon Tail. And it's not the easiest one to actually land, seeing as how it is a flying projectile. So that's always going to give V-Tune enough time to pop his Dark Pack off and purge it away. Next move straight into this Roshan pit. Amplify damage on top. He falls pretty damn quick. That's Aegis cheese. Let's put the Aegis into the hands of Iceberg. Seems how he's the one being super aggressive. Just jumps super far forward. Finds Solo once more. And he's gone. Is that V-Tune? He does actually find no one. General's even coming in now to try and finish him off. The borrow time's already been used. Big dagger forward, gets a stun onto him. Zayat came in to try and help, but he's put himself in harm's danger. The Laguna Blade to the back. And the Doom is gone. Smell and Ramses look like they're trying to do a little bit of ratting. They're doing quite a fair amount of damage onto this tier 3. It doesn't look like anyone on the side of Na'Vi is actually rotating around. They're actually going to use the glyph now. But General and Iceberg both TPing in here. They're just going to start charging onto this Ramses. Iceberg, as soon as he finds his TP, goes straight in. Orchid onto Ramses, but there's still Samael. Comes in with a stun to the side. Nice double stun though from General. Activates his Mask of Madness, starts laying into Ramses. Tries to go for a very ambitious TP, but he's not going to find that in time. And now it's Samael all alone. V-Tune even rotates around. And that's the Samael gone. I mean, I suppose the one benefit of all this happening is, hey, at least Na'Vi's not destroying our base, right? Oh, no, they just call it. They're done. They are done. They realise how screwed they were and they just don't want any part of this. They actually tap out. Very, very good showing there by Na'Vi. It started off pretty well for 404. They got the early leads. They were making some progress, but once again, it's that team fight around the Roshan. All 5 of them get wiped. And then Na'Vi get a free Aegis. And it all just spirals off from there. And, yeah, Na'Vi end up closing this out in a very dominant fashion. It just did not seem like 404 had the opportunity to actually crawl themselves back into this game. maybe they're just lacking a little bit of team cohesion and coordination at this point, because I mean they are still a very fresh team, despite the fact that they are all 5 very good and well-known players. Sometimes, you know, you can't just slap 5 decent players together and expect a team to perform super well. I mean, it's like a old OG. You know, they had such a superstar team, all these big names, and on paper it looked like the team should work. But sometimes it just takes a little bit of time and effort for teams to start really meshing together too well. But either way, that is Na'Vi taking the series 2-1. It's very well played to them. So the next series up is going to be Team Secret versus Mudgolems? No, Viking.gg. So that'll be coming up pretty soon. So if you guys stick around for that, and I'll see you there. But if you guys have enjoyed this series or any of my other games, then please think about following me on YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, where I announce what I'm going to be doing in future events. Obviously, my next series is going to be, as I said, Secret versus Viking.gg. So hopefully you guys stick around and watch that as well. Yeah, so if you want to help support me, then please think about following me in the future. So I'll see you then.